All right. You know what it is? You know who it is. We're back. We got episode 16 of the Fight Cast. Got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. We had a really good weekend in UFC 258 and had some good boxing as well. Jake will go over the stuff that we predicted this week that came up. And then we're going to go into UFC Fight Night, break that down. That's coming up this weekend. We got Lewis versus Blaydes. That's headlining. And then, like I said, we got a lot of boxing. We got Josh Kelly, Adrian Broner, and we're going to break down a ton of it. So UFC 258, we had Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns, and that was a very good fight. It was, I think it lived up to expectations. And did you see any of it or no?
No.
No? Okay. So Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman's currently the welterweight champion of the world, and he's a top level fighter, and he showed it this weekend. He got clipped early on. For those of you that watched the fight, he got rocked, almost got dropped. He caught himself with his hands, and he kept him. Actually, I technically think he did get dropped because I think his knees hit the ground, but he got back up, took some shots, and just you would have been proud, Jake. He dominated with his jab, like literally.
Yeah.
The rest of the night after he got hit a couple times, his coach was like, "You live and die by the jab." He dropped Burns with the jab twice and then finished the fight with the jab and dropped him on his face or dropped him on his ass, just like a straight jab right to the face. And he like I said, he got caught a couple times, but once the second round was over, it was clear who won that, like who was going to win that fight. Usman was just catching him, and Burns wasn't moving his head as a normal UFC fighter. He was just leading with his head, throwing haymakers. He was trying to get the finish at that point, and he even said it in the press conference after that. He made a mistake early on when he caught him. He made a rookie mistake and he tried to finish it instead of, because he, in the first round, he caught him within the first 30 seconds and dropped him. And then he kept catching him and he stunned him a couple of times after that. But then he just couldn't finish the job. And he kept, like I said, he wasn't moving his head. He was being really aggressive, and he should have sat back just a little bit and made Usman come to him. And he probably could have dominated that fight, but it was all standing. There was no grappling, and Burns tried to get it to grappling, and it didn't really work out that well. But Usman, he showed his power there, and like he had a really good fight, and again, a true like championship performance because he came up, he got hit, he showed out, and then he won the fight. And I don't know what's next for him. I think for him, it's a little bit more of like coming back around and like digging back into the division, whether that's Colby Covington or that's Jorge Masvidal. He's going to have to fight a repeat fight. It looks like it's going to be Masvidal. From what I'm understanding, is it's going to be Usman, Masvidal on Tough, the Ultimate Fighter. They're going to be the coaches, and then they're going to fight at the end of it, which I'm very interested to see because I think the first fight was okay. Masvidal dominated him, but I think with a full camp, Masvidal can put up a little bit more of a fight because I think he's a better striker overall than Usman. But I don't know that he's like a championship fighter, and that's the thing. And like Usman has shown time and time again, he's a championship fighter. So I'm excited to see what's next with Usman. He caught my attention this weekend. I've watched him enough, but he's never been like an exciting fighter. But he earned it, and he earned it this weekend. And like I said, I'm excited to see what comes. The other fights, we had Macy Barber, Alex Grasso, and Kevin Gastelum versus Ian Heinisch. I want to talk about Gastelum first. He probably looked the best that I've seen him look in a while. I think this was his first or second fight back from. I don't remember how many fights he's had before this, but coming off of the Izzy loss a couple of years ago, and he looked good in the cage. He looked fit, and he'd been working with Phil Daru. So shout out to Phil Daru and the crew down in Florida. But he looked his best. He was sharp. Heinisch looked gassed, like really, it was oddly gassed. Like he looked huge for his weight, like 185, and he was massive. So he must have cut down a lot of weight. It must have affected him because he was huffing and puffing from the first round. And Gastelum just had that fight from the beginning. He got caught a couple times, but he dominated on the feet. He dominated on the ground. I think he had like 7 takedowns in total for Heinisch, who's a wrestler. And I keep seeing these fights that go back and forth with the UFC, and there's wrestlers that are supposed to be like these takedown defense artists, and then I see them just get mauled and like taken down and destroyed. And so I'm, it's starting to become every time I see it, I'm like, all right, well, because that's usually the defense is like, oh, it's a jiu-jitsu guy versus a wrestler. And then it's a wrestler versus a wrestler. And then either no wrestling happens or the wrestler gets dominated. So there's just time and time again, like I said, and Gastelum, he's a 10th planet jiu-jitsu black belt, which is Eddie Bravo. So he's, he's learned his shit. He knows his shit, and he dominated over the weekend. Macy Barber, Alex Grasso. I was looking forward to Macy Barber, and she got fucked up. She got basically dominated the whole fight. Macy Barber is, if she had any advantage, it was supposed to be on the ground, and she even got dominated on the ground. Grasso, like I told you before we started this, you would have been proud. She was bobbing and weaving, hooks, straights, combos, just catching Barber. Barber was oddly, she was right from the start, she was 4 or 5 steps away from Grasso, throwing jabs and combos, but not even no. She, I don't even know how to explain it. She was just not in any danger zone. It was she was shadow boxing in front of Grasso the entire night. She was head bobbing back and forth, throwing a jab and throwing a couple combos, but not in any striking range whatsoever. And then when she did get in, she just threw haymakers. She was doing all this movement outside, and then when she'd get in, she'd just go like this and just stay there. So then she kept getting caught. She kept getting hit. Then she tried to go in for a couple takedowns. She had a couple nice moments towards the end, but every time she went in for the takedown, she got dominated on the cage. And she was bigger than Grasso, and she was clearly bigger than Grasso. And Macy Barber is pretty big for her division, and she didn't show out. And I thought her last fight. So on the last episode of this, I mentioned that she tore her ACL, and I thought she won that fight, but I forgot she did lose that fight. So she's coming off of 2 losses. And this one was supposed to be the test of all right, this was to make up for the last fight because you tore your ACL and everyone's kind of giving you a second chance. And she didn't, she got dominated. So I don't know what's going to happen with her moving forward. She's still a big piece in the UFC, and she's still an upcoming star. So I'm sure this isn't going to be the end for her. But it's interesting to see because she's being pushed as the next great thing in women's MMA. But yeah, so it was a good weekend overall. Usman and Burns definitely delivered. The other fights delivered as well. For the card, it was good. It was an underwhelming card to look at from afar, but I think for what happened, it definitely was worth it. Now, upcoming, I can't wait to talk about March 6th because that card is fucking stacked. It's Izzy there. Amanda Nunes is on the card. Jan, what the hell is his last name? I forgot his last name. There's 3 champions on the card. It's ridiculous. It's going to be such a good card, but we'll talk about that obviously next weekend. This weekend, we got UFC Fight Night. We got the one and only Derrick Lewis versus Curtis Blaydes. And then we got a couple other fights that I want to talk about. I'm going to break down from the bottom up. So we got Phil Dawes versus Nasruddin Imavov. Phil Dawes is a Phil Daru guy, and his last couple fights, he's come out real strong. I think the last fight he knocked his guy out in 45 seconds. He's a firecracker. Dude's got fists, and he actually moves pretty well. He throws good punches. So I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to win this fight. I'm going to predict a 1st or 2nd round KO. It should be it's only a 3-round fight. So I'm going to say 1st round KO. I think it'll be midway through the 1st round. And I think he's going to catch him, and I think he's going to win this fight easily. He's going to kind of cement himself and keep, his climb to the top. He's coming up right now. I think he's 9-2, and he's impressed his last couple fights. Then we got Alexei Olenek, who is a veteran. I think he's got 55 fights in the UFC. He's 50.
Ellie Olenek's brother?
Yeah, it might be. This dude's fucking savage. He's a jiu-jitsu specialist who's got some striking in him, but I think he's 54 and what's his record? Oh Jesus, it's more than that. 59-14 in the UFC. So he's known for his Ezekiel chokes. Ezekiel choke is it's over the neck, and you reach through like this.
Oh yeah,
and you squeeze, and he gets that. I've seen some of his highlights, and I've seen him live in person.
Ezekiel, bro, that's just a hood headlock.
Let's call it the Ezekiel choke.
That's what everybody puts in that one.
Oh no, it's this. So it's actually this. So you bring your head through, and then you grab the bicep, and then this hand comes over the throat, and then you squeeze this way, and then your head is in this little hole right here,
Yeah. That's the hood
The
hold.
hood headlock. All right. That's the hood
Everybody
lock.
gets put in it.
Well,
Dude,
night.
there's jujitsu experts all over the hood, and people don't even know it.
The Give Me My Money special.
Yeah. That's exactly what that shit is.
Well, the correct jujitsu term, the Ezekiel choke, he's an expert at. He gets it from the weirdest positions. If you check his highlights, he's got some from he was on the ground and he had a guy in mount. So it's definitely impressive to watch at that level to get that type of choke because that's a hard choke to get on somebody, especially who knows it's coming and can defend it. I think he's going to win. I think he'll pull out here. He's fighting Chris Dawkins. Don't know who that is, but I'm going to go with the guy I know, Alexei Olenek. And then we got Blaydes versus Lewis. So Blaydes is a wrestler, and Lewis is just, I don't even know what to describe him as. He's just a puncher. He's just an out of shape puncher.
Brawler.
Brawler.
He's a brawler.
Dude's a brawler. And I've gone against Derrick Lewis in the past, and he's knocked the guy out. And, I've gone for Derrick Lewis, and he's gotten knocked out, or, he's been good as of recent. But I have reason to believe that Blaydes is going to win this fight. And I think he's going to, and this is the thing I'll say. Derrick Lewis, if he's got his conditioning in order, I think he has a chance to win this fight. But if he gets caught in wrestling and he gets taken down, I don't think it's going to last very long. With that being said, I don't want to go against Derrick Lewis because I like him so much as a fighter. So I'm going to pick Derrick Lewis to win this fight. And I think he's going to catch Curtis Blaydes. I'll say he's going to catch him. It's probably be I'm going to say somewhere in the second round, he's going to catch him. And and this is the other reason. He's gone against Olenek, the guy who's on the card here, and he's gone against a couple guys who are supposed to be wrestlers. And he's pulled it out of his ass somehow that he's been alive on the ground when he's there, and he keeps it and he defends it, and he's done well. So I think he's going to win. I'm going to go with a second round knockout here. And so just to recap, this weekend we got Blaydes Lewis. I'm going to pick Lewis, second round knockout. Olenek versus Dawkins. I'm going to go with a second round submission by Olenek, and then first round KO for Phil Dawes. So if you guys, are going to watch those fights, let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Definitely down to hear your predictions. So let's get into boxing. We got a ton of boxing to go over. You want to start? Go from there?
Yeah. So last week's big fight, Joe Smith and Vlasov got postponed because Vlasov got the Rona. So Richard Comey versus Marinez became the
main fight.
Main event. Comey won in a 6-round knockout. I didn't watch the fight. I actually watched a couple of older Mayweather fights and a De La Hoya fight, just because I was feeling old school. So Richard Comey he's a former champion. He's got some power. Obviously, T.O. took his belt. I think he knocked him out in the 5th round. I think this was his. I'm pretty sure this was his first fight back. But either way, it puts Richard Comey back in title contention. So his name will be. You'll hear his name around there for as an potential opponent for some of these guys that are holding belts. Also, I forgot to mention last week. I don't know where it was aired. I don't know if it was on DAZN or not. But Joey Diaz fought.
Okay, yeah.
He got a win last week. So he's going to have a big fight coming up off of that. But this weekend is huge. We got the big one is Miguel Berchalt and Oscar Valdez. That's going to be huge. Great card. I think Xander. Let me get these right so I get the right cards. On that card, We have
This is the
Elvis
Berchalt versus Valdez.
This is Berchelt versus Valdez, which is on ESPN. Elvis Rodriguez. So that's one of Freddie Roach's fighters. He's undefeated. He's on the card. Xander Zayas, which is the kid, I think he's 18 or 19. Prodigy. He's on the card. And then there's Josh Kelly, the Irish dude. He's real nasty, fighting David. I don't know how to say his last name. Avanayasin. Florian Marku is on that card. He's a very exciting fighter. And then Adrian Broner in his comeback fight against Giovanni Santiago. That fight's on Showtime. The Josh Kelly fight is on DAZN. But the Adrian Broner fight, Otto Wallin and Dominic Breazeale are on the undercard. Robert Easter is also on the undercard.
Is he really?
So, yeah. So there's a lot of really good fights this weekend. So I'm going to start with the most unimportant one, which is Adrian Broner. And maybe it's not. It could become important.
Yeah.
But for the time being, it's because right now I'm going to act. So I'm going to predict this fight based on Adrian Broner's experience and nothing else. I'm going to pretend like all the shit that happened outside the ring didn't happen, that he's just been in a long break.
Yeah.
I've seen Santiago's record. He's 14-0 with 10 knockouts. So he's dangerous somehow, some way. It's very hard to get highlights on him. I saw some stuff. Again, 14 fights, you're fighting tomato cans. So it's not really anything to go off of. He certainly has power to surprise Broner if Broner is not mentally in the fight. But I'm going to say Broner is going to comfortably win a decision.
I think, like I said, we said this last week. I think if he wants to have anything to do with anything big in the future, he needs to win convincingly.
Yeah, I think he's going to comfortably win a decision. I think the timing, the accuracy, and the things that bring on knockouts, I think it's going to take a couple fights to really get that back, to shake off that rust. But I do think that just his experience and his natural ability alone will give him a nice, comfortable decision. I'm going to pick. I'm going to go to the Otto Wallin and Breazeale fight, two heavyweights on that undercard. Two flabby, like very unorthodox fighters. I'm going to go with Otto Wallin in this fight. Dominic Breazeale, for a big dude, has a chin like 3-year-old girl. So I'm going to say Otto Wallin gets a knockout. I'm going to say 8th round. Otto Wallin knockout 8th round. And then let's go down to, let's get into some I'm going to save the Berchalt fight for last. So now we'll go to the Josh Kelly fight. So Josh Kelly is an Irish Olympian. He was on a hot streak a couple years ago, like undefeated, just blazing through everyone. He's one of these guys who is like, he's like an Irish Roy Jones. Okay. He's super athletic, fights with his hands down, beautiful head movement, beautiful footwork. He has power, speed. He's got it all, man. But it was just before the pandemic, he lost a fight to, I forget who it was, but he lost a decision because he got into a ring with a guy who wasn't willing to let him do all the flashy stuff that he's used to doing. And I think it was a wake-up call for Josh Kelly that sometimes you do just have to get to business. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to, dig in and get dirty. You can't always look good because it's a fight. And I think he learned that. And honestly, like he's Irish. I mean, he's got it. It's not like he doesn't got it in him. He's got it in him to get dirty and fight.
Those
So
Irish boys.
yeah. So this is an important fight. Josh Kelly, um, this is for a European welterweight title. But if Josh Kelly wins this, then he can start looking toward Spence and Crawford and Pacquiao and these bigger names. Um, this this dude Evan Niasen, he I've seen a little bit of him. He's got some power. He's a rough dude. He's a busy guy. Um, but he throws a lot of shots off balance, or he throws a lot of shots that lead to him becoming off balance.
Yeah.
Um,
It's too much power.
but,
He's got too much
yeah,
power.
yeah. He jumps into shots. He doesn't really sit down on the shots. So his power is coming from just like throwing his entire body into one shot. He's a little sloppy. I don't think he touches Josh Kelly. I think Josh Kelly fucks him up. I'm gonna go again. This is a comeback fight. I'm gonna go Josh Kelly in a decision, but a very convincing decision.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna run through him. All right, let's get to this. Okay, the big fight. The big fight is Miguel Berchelt, Oscar Valdez.
You don't think Robert Easter's worth breaking down? Is he a bum now?
Well, I don't know the dude that he's fighting. Ryan Martin. I don't know who that is. I mean, I'm gonna pick Robert Easter. I don't know.
I mean, I figured it wasn't that much to talk about, but
I mean, yeah. I mean, Easter is he's
I've heard a lot about him.
really slick boxer.
Yeah.
Really good boxer. I don't know who this dude Ryan Martin is, so I couldn't, just for the sake of picking, I'll pick Robert Easter.
All right.
On the Berchelt Valdez undercard, I'm gonna pick Xander Zayas. He's fighting some dude, James Martin. Zayas is still in that. Again, he's a prodigy. He's still in that part of his career where he's tuning up to get bigger fights, just padding his stats. So he's probably going to knock this guy out real early. So Zayas in a knockout, let's say third round. It's only a 6-round fight. I'll say third round knockout. Elvis Rodriguez, again, a Freddie Roach guy, still on his way up. He's looks like he's gonna be really, really fucking dangerous. I'm gonna pick Elvis in an early knockout too, say 4th round in his fight. Now to Berchelt and Valdez. This is one of these fights that's gonna be like, it's gonna be fight of the year candidate. Two Mexicans for a title. So the thing is, like, their styles make for, they don't have so Berchelt is more like the one with the more typical Mexican style, like go forward, throw a million punches. That's his style. But he's heavy-handed. So it's not like he's throwing a million of them just to touch a guy up. He's laying it on guys. But he gets hit a lot, and that happens with that style. You're going in to land. You throw 8 punches, you're probably and you're not moving your head in between. You're gonna get hit with 2-3 probably in that 8 that you're throwing. But when you have power like him, it's a good trade-off for you. Valdez is more, Valdez is with Reynoso now. Valdez is more, he's got more in his toolbox, I would say. He's still got, you could see flashes of that, old school traditional Mexican shit where he just goes forward and he'll just throw hooks. And he's got some power in his hands too. But Valdez has a little more in his toolbox. He moves his head a little bit more. I think he's a little better with his feet. Sometimes Berchelt gets he gets caught with his feet stuck in the ground because of that style. He'll pick a spot, like, I'm gonna dig
what
in
division are
right
these?
here.
What's the weight division?
This is junior lightweight.
Okay.
So this is 135
Okay.
or one. Is this 130 or 135? But it's for Berchalt's belt. It's 130. So I think it's going to be a battle that's going to last almost the whole fight.
And it's getting dropped.
I think these guys are going to beat the shit out of each other. But I'm gonna pick Valdez in an 11th round knockout. All right. And I'm picking that again because he has a little bit more in his toolbox. He moves his head a little bit more. And Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso is the X factor. I think, yeah, I've said it before. I think, if it ain't Freddie Roach, it's Reynoso is the best trainer in the world. I'm gonna pick.
So he works with Canelo.
Huh?
He works in the gym with Canelo then.
Yeah. He's in there every day with Canelo, with the best fighter in the world, feeding off of him, best trainer in the world, feeding off of him. Already with the skills, the talent that he already had before he started training with them. I just think it puts him above Berchalt a little bit. So yeah, I think after 10 and a half really tough rounds, Valdez is going to get a late knockout.
I was just looking. He's got a big reach advantage. Berchalt,
yeah,
got like 6-inch reach advantage. Valdez, yeah, damn. All right, so I think that anybody who's in the gym with Canelo is going to be significantly, what do you call it? They're going to benefit from just being in that situation as much as possible. And even, in that atmosphere with Ryan Garcia, and then having Reynoso as your trainer, I tend to believe that, you probably heard it. The people you surround yourself with are the people you become. At least in some regard, you carry that weight with you. So Oscar Valdez, if he has any piece of Canelo in him, he's gonna be good. He's gonna win. If he's if he moves and he makes his he uses his skills, then obviously he's gonna be in a position where the power, in my eyes, power is like a what do you call it? Just like a tool that can get you out of certain situations. But when you have like
equalizer,
the great equalizer, and when you have like overall boxing skill, you can get rid of that power in a lot of ways. Just moving a little bit more, waiting for them to react, looking for those certain punches. So if he can do that, then I don't think it's a long. I think you're right, and I think he'll come back and win, and he'll knock him out. I've never seen Berchalt fight, so I should probably watch him before I make any predictions. So I'll probably lay off that. But if you think Valdez is going to win, I'll go with Valdez as well. Elvis Rodriguez, I've definitely heard of. I've never actually seen him fight live, so I'm going to have to tune in again. I'm excited to see Josh Kelly. I was watching some of his highlights, and I'm definitely excited to see him. I think that he'll walk away with that. And I still think that with him, coming up and starting to get his name out there more, I'd love to see him really dominate this fight and just get that next step and maybe be that person who, because like I said, like we've said, there's not much going on in that Crawford division and Spence unless they fight. And I saw some stuff this weekend saying that Crawford might end up fighting Sean Porter, or it was Sean Porter or someone else he was deciding between. And he was saying that Sean Porter was probably going to be the one, or that looked a little bit more enticing right now. And
Pacquiao actually, he
Pacquiao. It was Pacquiao.
yeah, he came out and said it that, he said he'd take 40 million and Crawford will get 10, and those are the terms that he put up. But if those terms are agreed upon, then that would be a fight.
Yeah.
I don't know that Bud would agree to that, even though, I mean, business wise, it is fair. I mean, Pacquiao's the biggest name in boxing right now, other than Canelo.
Yeah.
It's probably still Pacquiao though. Pacquiao's probably the most famous boxer and maybe fighter overall in the world. You know what I mean? So
what do you think was that fight?
at this point, Crawford.
Yeah.
I mean, Pacquiao's I think 43 years old.
Is there any news on him and Garcia?
I don't think it's a thing that's going to happen.
It's just nonsense.
I mean, the more I like, when I actually started thinking about it, it's like, what does Pacquiao get out of that fight? Because one, they're in different divisions, so it'd have to be at a catchweight, right? Mm-hmm. Which would probably 140, because Pacquiao's been fighting at welterweight for the past 15 years, right? So, and Garcia's never fought above 135. So I don't think there's any way that Garcia wins the fight regardless, but it's like, at this point in Pacquiao's career, he's still the highest paid boxer in the world.
Yeah.
So he's not doing it for money, right? He wants belts. And why would he go down to 140, fight at a catchweight when they're not fighting for a belt? Yeah. Garcia doesn't have a belt to begin with anyway. So why would he fight him? Right? I think that for one, I think Garcia, like, now that I think about it, I think Garcia is just afraid of Tank. And I hate to say that any fighter is afraid, but Garcia is not like, he's not, I don't see him as one of us. Like, this dude he's a social media influencer that happens to be really talented at boxing. Yeah. Like, that's what the fuck he is.
Yeah.
He's talking about retiring at 26. He's already thinking about his future and like doing other things while he's still actively, like, at the beginning of his career in boxing. I don't think he wants that. I don't think he wants those kind of problems with Tank. And I think Garcia saw this Pacquiao fight as an opportunity to get his name even bigger than it is, make him more famous than it already is, because there is no bigger name in boxing. Yeah. But I don't think it's really going to happen. I just don't see Pacquiao having any interest in that whatsoever. It does nothing.
Lose.
Yeah, it does nothing for Pacquiao.
Neutral, essentially. I mean, it's a neutral.
And I don't even think that, to be honest with you, I don't even think that fight can generate enough money to pay Pacquiao his purse.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right? I mean?
Yeah. It'd be another Floyd, Logan Paul.
Yeah, it's like, so who?
They should put Ryan Garcia in the ring with Jake Paul. That would be a great fight for Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
There's news with Tio though. So
yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, Teofimo Lopez set terms for Top Rank. So Top Rank offered him $1.25 million for his mandatory fight against George Kambosos. Tio rejected that.
So he's
came back with a counteroffer. I don't know what the counteroffer is, but he said that if it's not met, if his terms are not met, he will fight not under Top Rank. He'll find a different promotion to fight under. So to get this straight, Kambosos is the IBF mandatory challenger. Mm-hmm. So in order for Tio to remain the undisputed champ, he has to fight Kambosos.
Yeah.
So
does it have to be? It doesn't have to be under Top Rank.
No. So Tio is under Top Rank currently.
Yeah.
So he's basically saying he will leave Top Rank as his promoter if he doesn't get met, but he still has to fight Kambosos in order to hang on to that belt. But again, he's already talking. In the same interview, he was talking about after Kambosos setting up a fight with Tank.
Yeah.
So things are looking up there.
I hope. I saw a picture the other day of on Instagram of Teofimo. What's his name? The young kid, not Garcia, the other one, Devin Haney.
Oh yeah.
And, Garcia, and then who's the fourth one? Oh, Davis. And they were just saying that, like, this is one of the most talented divisions in the fight world, and people keep saying that like boxing's dying, and like there's these 4 like studs, like absolute studs
Yeah.
that are fighting, and there's still all these dudes that, like I said, this weekend we got Josh Kelly, Adrian Broner, Robert Easter, and like to see that like
And
going up.
those are all welterweights
That's what I was
in
saying. Yeah.
Spence and Spence, Pacquiao, and Crawford. So like that's another division that's huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
I
like
mean
seeing
there's a
Robert
lot going on.
Easter as the 3rd
And,
fight on a card is like,
yeah,
I was like, what the hell happened? Like I thought his record's still 22-1. What were you gonna say?
and not to mention that in those lightweights, pretty soon Shakur Stevenson is going to be um, mentioned among them because he's not going to stay at 130 forever. Like he's dominating at 130. He's going to move up to 135. It's just a matter of time. Like probably within his next, I'd say 2 or 3 fights, he's going to move up to 135. So it's going to be another superstar in that division.
Yeah.
Plus, Lomachenko is still there. He's going to come back and fight somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that division is stacked, man, stacked.
Yeah, and I think that it's going to get interesting, and I think there's a ton of stuff that can happen. For me, I know this is the most exciting fight for me is still Broner, for the simple fact that it could lead to so much more that comes from it. And that's like the one fight this weekend where if he wins and does well, I think it opens up the door to have that what do you want to call it? Just like that parity in the division right now. Because I think that part of that division of boxing needs it. And we keep saying it, and I said it not even 5 minutes ago, but like, who does Terrence Crawford fight? Who does Errol Spence fight? Who does Pacquiao fight? Who do these guys fight? And Broner's that name that steps in, and whether he's a gatekeeper or he's just another face, or he comes in and actually like realizes, I'm interested to see how he is personality wise coming into the fight. Like if he's like his old self, I don't think he's going to do well. I think if he comes in and he fights like a professional, and he comes in like a professional, and he he trains his ass off like it looks like he's been, and he wins, then he could really be a thorn in a lot of these guys' sides. Because I don't think, and we've said it, but I don't think he's got the true skill right now to beat those guys. But Adrian Broner as a boxer is still like a very high level boxer, and like he can make some noise in the division.
I mean, again, a few years ago, you just look at him skill wise, and forget about all the out of ring shit. Skills, he matches up with Spence and Crawford. Certainly, it's just is his head going to be there? Right? And I think, like you were saying, like you just said, to his his attitude coming into the fight. Like, I hope he's, because for a while there he was sort of he became an egomaniac, right? Like so he shouldn't. I don't think he should let go of who he was when he was winning. Like the guy was having fun and being loose, and do all that. Don't take it too seriously. You know what I mean? Don't fucking take it so serious that you're not who you are. But yeah, you're right. If he comes in and shows that he's focused and he actually wants to win these fights and be a champion again, yeah, he's gonna be fucking dangerous.
Yeah, and I think that like for him, it's almost, and I'm not comparing the two in stature at all, but like it's the same thing with Conor. Was like Conor changed his personality and he lost, and like you don't want to just change your personality, but like I think people also forget with Broner is like the dudes he's actually fought and lost to in his career were all like and that's what seems to be the thing, is like when he steps up to that upper echelon, he doesn't perform. And like his losses, he's 33-4. And his only losses are Marcos Maidana, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia, and Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
So like, seeing that overall, he got to fight Pacquiao. First off, you got to be somebody to get in there with Pacquiao. It's just that he underperforms, he underthrows, he doesn't use his skills in all these fights. So if he can come up, he's been there before, and he's one of those dudes. And that's the thing, is makes it so like for me, the most exciting fight, because it leads to so much more outside of like, Elvis Rodriguez, who's a young up and coming guy who's, possibly one of the bigger names that's going to happen, or the Josh Kellys, or, all these guys. But Broner's a name that, like, and he has everything that you need. It's just like, can he actually, like, put the shit together and actually go out there and, like, use it and then win? Because that's a whole different conversation with someone like that. It's like, it's just that it's just again, how many times you have to have that conversation before you're like, all right, well, I'm done with this guy, because he's had those fights, he's been there. It's just he's got to perform when the time comes. So, but big weekend. So let's recap everything, because there was a lot there. So we got Dominic Brazil versus Otto Valen.
Yep.
You're picking Valen.
Yep.
And then we got Robert Easter. We're picking.
Yep.
Broner.
Yep.
Did you talk about Markin?
I don't know the dude that he's fighting,
okay.
But he's always an exciting fighter to watch. So, watch him.
Awesome. So Markin. Let's go. Hold on. Let's break these down by card. So we got Broner and Santiago as the main. Robert Easter is the third. Dominic Brazil is the second fight versus Valen. So that's all one card. And that's going to be on Showtime. And then we got Josh Kelly's the main.
Yep.
And then who's on his card? Is that Markin?
That is
Josh Kelly.
Yeah, Florian Marco's on that card.
And that's on ESPN?
That's on DAZN.
DAZN. Okay, so that's on DAZN. And then we got Berchalt and Valdez, and then Elvis Rodriguez and Xander Zayas. Is that how you say his last name?
Xander Zayas, yeah.
Zayas. And that's on
ESPN.
ESPN. All right. So break it down. Valen, win. You said knockout, 11th round?
No, that's gonna. I'd say, I think said the 8th round.
8th round. Okay, 8th round. Robert Easter will go decision or knockout. He'll probably knock his guy out if he's a bum.
Yeah, I don't know who. Yeah, probably.
Broner, I hope he gets a knockout. I hope he does it stunningly, but I'm gonna go with a decision. I think it'll go.
I think Cruz is doing a decision.
Yeah, and then Markin go by decision. Josh Kelly, both agree. I think he's going to come out strong, do something fancy, finish this dude. Then we got
similar to Broner. I think he come back. He comes back and just boxes the shit out of this dude, cruises to a decision.
And then we got Zayas. We're picking decision.
Early knockout.
Early knockout.
Second, third round.
All right, cool. Elvis Rodriguez, we're going with
early knockout.
Third round,
yeah.
And then we got Valdez with this was the 11th round KO. Valdez with the 11th round late KO.
After an absolute bloody war.
All right, good. So there's a lot of boxing, a lot of stuff to watch.
Good boxing too.
Good boxing, yeah. Not just a lot. We got volume and intensity this weekend. So we got UFC Fight Night. We got Blaydes versus Lewis. That's going to be a fun fight to watch, regardless if you're a UFC fan or not. And then we got Berchalt, Rodriguez, Zayas, Kelly, Markin, Broner, Easter, Brazil, Valen, all these dudes. So definitely tune in. Definitely watch. Let us know your predictions. Is there anything other boxing news or anything that's out?
Nah, I think we covered the big stuff.
Yeah. UFC wise, like I said, Usman, looking at either Covington or Masvidal, depending on who signs first. Actually, I think since the last time we were on here, Edwards versus Chimaev got canceled again because Chimaev is having lasting side effects from COVID. So Dana's making him come to the U.S. and he, quote, said, I'm going to have him get some attention from real doctors. And because apparently he doesn't think he's seeing real doctors in Russia or wherever he's from. But that fight got canceled again. So
Putin's about to have Dana White killed.
He probably is. And
talking that shit.
And then what else was there? I feel like there was something else. Oh, it's looking as of right now like Conor Poirier is going to happen in the summer. So it's looking like both of them want the trilogy and neither of them want really another fight. So they're going to get that fight in the summer and it'll go from there.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I saw Conor posted a clip of the fight, the
Oh, of him
Poirier
punching?
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, of him. He was like, and he. I think the caption he put, working with that lead paw,
Yeah.
and it was the most like off balance, like sloppy jab that I've ever seen Conor McGregor throw. He completely pushed it, like he leaned, like all of his weight shifted over his lead foot,
He does
and
that a
he
lot, though.
pushed the shot through. Yeah, but why would you use that as a
Oh, I
highlight?
know, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there were better shots thrown. He's got to stop, man.
When he throws that punch, he leans. I've seen breakdowns of it, but he leans, especially when he fought like Alvarez. But it doesn't really make sense against a Poirier because like he's a southpaw. So like you don't.
Yeah.
He what he tries to do there is lean so he can get that guy to throw the punch, and then he's already there and he slips and throws.
No. This was just the jab.
Oh, just the jab.
Not the lead and the pullback. No, not that Mayweather shit. He wasn't doing like the pull counter. No, he just threw the jab out there. If you watch, go look at his Instagram.
I'm looking right now.
No,
you're right.
He just threw the jab out, and you could see him push through the target. He didn't throw the shot out there, and he's leaning so far forward. It looks so bad, and he put that out there
pull
like
his hand back to his face.
No,
he goes here and he goes right.
He posted like it was something good that he did. It's like he doesn't even know what he's doing good anymore. Yeah. Let that man retire with his children. Fuck.
He reaches a lot with his punches.
He does, but it's usually with the power hand. Like he'll throw the jab. He's always been good at snapping the jab out there and then really following through with the power hand, which is why he's gassed out so much, because he throws too much into that one shot. Yeah. But he's always been good and accurate because he's been loose in the shoulders. Yeah. That right there is a guy who's super tense and he's pushing through a jab, and it looks so bad. It's so hard to watch.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
I'm disgusted by it, and I want to spit in his face because of it.
And Dustin posted this after, and he said victory.
Yeah.
So it was him knocking out.
That's what you get for that's not a highlight, Connor. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I
think he should post that like, listen, kids, this is what you should not do.
Damn. Well, whatever. That fight's gonna be the third bout. Hopefully, I hope they make it. I want to see it again. But we'll see what happens with the UFC. There's a lot of good stuff. I'm super excited next week. I'm gonna break down. I don't know if there's boxing next weekend on the 6th, but
but next weekend on the 27th there is.
Oh wait, so UFC is 2 weekends away. There's another fight after that. I got to look at what it is, but March 6th I can't wait for. There's too much. Let me see what's after that for UFC. There should be another. That's another fight night. All right, well, we'll get there. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. If you guys do watch, let us know. Definitely love to hear your predictions, and we'll go from there. So if you guys have listened this far, thank you. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.